Rise and shine your light, solution seekers. It's your girl, the spiritual activist, coming to you with another word, message, spout of wisdom, vent session, whatever you want to call it. So today, I'm not in the best of spirits, and I just want to kind of reflect on something while I'm in this energy, just want to release my perspective when I'm in a dark space. And so, social media has become a catalyst and basically catalyst just speeding up the process, catastrophizing, making it worse or bigger, exacerbating, making it just worse. You know what I mean? The woes or the negatives or the ins and outs of, the mundane life is making life miserable. Because, yes, we all know life has its ups and downs. Life has its stressors. Life has its setbacks and downfalls, and mainly just stressors, in general. But social media is putting a lot of emphasis on it. It's it's like a magnifying glass. It's shedding so much light that it's making it be consumed in a more intensive way. And the thing about it is, there's nothing wrong with bringing light to something. There's nothing wrong with trying to help people understand that what they're experiencing is this or that. But when someone is not seeking it and there's no policing on the content that we're putting out here, you're re-traumatizing people. Conscious awareness is something that could be helpful and dangerous at the same time, because a lot of this is rooted in psychoanalysis. It's breaking people's egos down. It's breaking people's spirit and soul down. It's breaking people's behaviors down in ways that sometimes are rooted in psychoanalysis, which isn't always true and fact. But it's hard to detach from that because the mind loves to make connection. And so if you tell someone something that sounds like it could be possibly true, whether that is detrimental to their spirit or not, they're going to believe it. And eventually, it's going to be soul crushing. You know what I mean? It's like, when are we going to actually get to the solution part? Pointing it out, I used to believe that was 80% of the work. Awareness is great, but what I'm learning is if there is no concrete, actionable solution behind it, you're just stuck living with an ugly truth or a reality that no longer is manageable, culpable. And so now you're stuck being dependent on a system of therapists, counselors, guides, preachers, whatever, people that are, in this work of service that now are being fueled by capitalism. It already seeped into the medical, the educational, the judicial. Now it's seeping into the spiritual world. Now it's seeping into the spiritual community. And it probably already has, but for me, I'm just now, realizing that. And it's like, when you get to a place like that, you're engulfed with this intense feeling of hopelessness, helplessness, anxiety, depression, feeling like there's no refuge, no place to turn, nobody in integrity, nobody who's righteous. And it's also an internal battle for me, because this is a field that I want to get into. And it's like, how do I get into a field when I don't even trust it, or I don't feel like people have the same heart and integrity that I do? You know what I'm saying? And don't get me wrong, this is not a shot at people who are in this field who are in integrity. It's just, these are the feelings that I feel. Trying to find a therapist and everything is, money, 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 money. What about for the people who don't have the money? Like, what about and it's like, yeah, I may feel depressed, I may feel anxiety, but it's rightfully freaking so. Like, I'm not in the job I want. I dread going to work every day. I hate my job. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but I have to stay there for, financial stability. These are the stresses that I'm dealing with. Trying to balance life-work balance, trying to be a good mother, trying to be a good spouse, trying to be a good person in this world. These are the stresses that I have. Trying to make ends meet, wanting to go traveling, wanting to go on vacations every now and again, wanting to do something that I want to do for my birthday and not just trying to settle for what I can afford or make the best of what I have. You know what I mean? I'm tired of making the best of what I have. I'm tired of just trying to humble myself and be this, I'm okay with this, or, oh, I just want to help people. Sometimes maybe I just don't want to work at all. It's just, I'm not going to even post this video because it's just really me venting. But I have to get this out because it's just like, I was just watching this video and there's this new audio going around. You know how Instagram has audio, all social platforms, but, sometimes you can save the audio. But anyway, there's an audio going around now that's saying like, she's not ignoring you. She's overwhelmed. She's exhausted. She has to wake up in the morning. She has this. She has kids who need her. She goes to work. People who need her there. She comes home. People need her there. And it's just like, yes, that's true. And I'm glad they got your reel a lot of likes and views. But what does that do for the mother who's actually going through that? What does that do for the father who's actually going through that? What does that do to that person? Exacerbates what they're already feeling. It just makes it more intense, overwhelming them even more. What was the solution behind that freaking video other than just seeing that your life is chaotic and miserable? You're engulfing us in trauma. We're being engulfed in everybody else's healing journey, and it's overstimulating us, overwhelming us, and effing with our mental health. At this point, you just need to protect your sanity, protect your hope, protect your faith, protect your spirit at all costs. If that means cutting off social platforms and just trying to rebuild from you, but for me, it's so hard because my line of work is activism. So I'm constantly having to go into the darkness as a light, trying to pull people out. And in that, darkness sometimes does seep into me. And I get into these moments of, deep depression and just deeper analysis paralysis and just trying to figure out the solutions because I don't want to sit here and just give you information or tell you stuff that you already know you're experiencing. I want to actually give concrete solutions to you, help you figure out ways to cope in these times. You know what I'm saying? And don't feel like coping is bad. But this is what I'm saying. We're in a world where people are constantly psychoanalyzing you, stealing all of your coping mechanisms, judging them, shadowing them, and leaving you dependent on them for help because they've already stripped you of everything that you had. They stripped you of your God. They stripped you of your faith. They stripped you of your religion, fueling you with guilt, shame, judgment, all of these. It's dark psychology, man, like at its finest, and it's really frustrating to me. It's really, really, really frustrating, bro. Like, I don't know, maybe I will post this. I don't know. But it's just like, social media, man, is just really killing the spirit. Like, it's feeding the ego. And I don't believe the ego is bad, like I said, but it's feeding the aspect of the ego that's really strong. And the stronger side of it is the wounded aspect of it. We are, in essence, healed. But to get there, you have to peel back so many layers. But right now, what we're doing is only adding more. This is why people are feeling so defeated. We're such in the energy of defeat because you feel like you peel off 3 layers. You watch one reel, nigga, you done added 10 more on top of it. It's in the movies that are coming out. It's like you feel like you lost the race before you even won it. I really feel sorry for the younger generations, for these children that are having to come up in this world like this, for the teens that are having to come up in this world like this, in that age where they're really just trying to find themselves. And there's so much going on around them. They're so engulfed in it now. They're so engulfed in everyone's opinion, they don't even know how to quiet it. They don't even know how to protect it, how to filter out, how to find what resonates, how to ignore all the noise or quiet the noise so they can hear their own inner voice. It's going to take a lot of mindful practices. It's going to take a lot of meditation. It's going to take a lot of prayer and talks with God to get to that voice that truly resonates with you. It's going to take a lot of social media detox to get to that place. If you're out there and you're feeling depressed, anxious, defeated, like giving up, like ending it all, don't. Keep holding on. I know it feels like a dark cloud is over you. You know, we are in a season of seasonal affective disorder or sad, and it's a form of depression. You know, we are in a time where the nights are getting longer and the days are getting shorter. You know, we're in a time of fall. That season does bring upon a energy that a lot of times can trigger memories and energies that may not be good for you. If this is you, if you've become hypersensitized because of so much conscious awareness that now it's fueled your mind to be over productive of analysis and overthinking, I see you. I see you. I feel your pain. I feel it myself. I understand. But we have to hold on to each other energetically, spiritually, you know? We have to let that heart center flow. We have to keep praying to God and ask for strength. We have to lean on the people around us who need us, who love us, who see our worth, see our value. We have to surround ourselves and fill our cup with those words, that energy, that love. Love is the highest frequency. It's the most healing energy that you can have. We need to surround ourselves with that at this time. Focus on that. If you hate your job, focus on ways to get out of it. Focus on ways to make room for that new job. As always, keep God first. Peace, love, light, and healing energies. Be open to receiving them. I love you guys. Peace out. What I've noticed just from being in this dark space of, misery and anxiety, depression, is that when I reflect on my reflections and just kind of look at them and assess them, the inner turmoil, we're always at this somewhat of a spiritual warfare. This tug of war between that little devil on our shoulder and little angel on our shoulder. And depending on our spirit and our mood, where we are internally, based on our physical reality. So basically, when we're not where we want to be in life, in our career, in our relationship, whatever that may be, that puts our spirit in a vulnerable state, in a state of wound, in a state of depression. When you do that, you kind of weaken your armor, the armor that God has around you, because you're losing faith. And in losing faith, you're losing that armor. You see what I'm saying? So you're vulnerable, you're weak, you're susceptible to that devil now being able to creep in, because it's playing and pulling and manipulating you when you're at a weakened state, when you're at a state where you're questioning God and when you're questioning your life and like, what is my life of servitude gotten me so far? What is it this and what is it that? It starts to cloud your judgment, starts to steal the gratitude from within you. Yes, you're not where you want to be, but it's like, I just noticed just from looking at reflections, I'm constantly battling with my perspective and my perception of life based on my mood and my emotions. And you have to become kind of aware of that and see like, well, you only are feeling like that because of this. Or if you had this, you wouldn't be feeling like that. You get what I'm saying? And so that mindset kind of can play into a lot of things, even with parenting. Like sometimes, your child may be really irking you or getting on your nerves, or you may be yelling at them and disciplining them more than usual. And you have to stop and assess yourself and be like, you had a bad day at work. That's why your tolerance is really low, or you feeling depressed right now. Your tolerance is really low, or you have a headache right now, or you're hungry right now. These things are just internal awareness, emotional intelligence. They're aspects of all these things. Just becoming aware of like your actions, and because behavior is communication. What you do outwardly is a reflection of what's going on internally. And sometimes we don't know what it is, and sometimes we can't pinpoint it. But there's always something we can do, whether we know what it is, the root of it, or not. There's always emotional regulation tactics and methods that you can use. Just as simple as thing as breathing, woosah, And I know sometimes it gets exhausting and tiring trying to be the good person all the time, trying to be compassionate, trying to be decent, trying to be, what's the other word that starts with the C? Considerate. That's what it is. Yeah, considerate. Just try. These things are mental stressors. They're emotional stressors, especially when there's so much energy around you that is easily falling into the trap of just, I'm not going to lie. I hate to use the word that people are weak, but the bad people in this world are weak. They are, because it takes a lot of strength to fight to be good in this world. So a lot of these people who've just given up and who just become these bad people and just do, wrong in this world, they don't have the strength to fight. You do have to fight in this world. Not everybody has to fight as hard as everybody, but some people really have to fight because the devil is really attacking them. The devil sees their potential and wants them on their side. They want their power. They want to suck their energy. And it's like God is constantly protecting you, but you have to work with God. You know what I'm saying? You can't give up. You can't lose that faith, because that faith is like your biggest shield. And I know it gets discouraging because faith is unseen. And as a human, we thrive with seeing, touching, feeling, because that's when we feel like it's real. It's hard to believe in something you don't see, you never seen, but you have to just try to look at what all God has blessed you with. Even if you may not have this or may not have that, you have to look at your children, look into their eyes, look at the blessings and beautiful things you have in your face. Look at your partner, look at this person who's sticking by you no matter what, who is constantly telling you how much they love you, how beautiful you are, or this or that or whatever. You have to start trying to focus in on those things when you get into this dark space. You have to try to make the best of those days. Yeah, you hate your job, but on your off days, try to go for a walk, try to meditate, try to listen to some music, cook a meal that you love, Trust me, it's easier said than done. I'm coming from a place right now where I don't want to do any of that. But I'm telling you, there's still a fight in me that I don't want to give up, that I don't want to give in, that I don't want to become this, wounded, burnt person, that I don't want to just end my life, I know I still have something to live for. I know I still have a purpose. Just getting to it is the journey to getting to that. Even though I walk in purpose every day, but the journey to get into my goals and what I see, that vision, get into that vision, it's a major emotional roller coaster. But the more and more you accept that and understand that, the more you can normalize these emotions as, it's part of the ride. It's part of the roller coaster of life. It's part of the road trip of life. All of these stops and pitfalls and pit stops and whatever, that's part of the journey. It's part of the destination. And I'm not here to preach positivity to you. I'm just here to tell you, just don't give up. I'm not saying you have to walk around and act like everything is okay and act like you don't have problems and psych yourself out like nothing is going on with you, like you're not having panic attacks, like you're not having emotional breakdowns, like you're not having moments of depression, like you're not having moments of anxiety, like you're not going through burnout. I don't want you to pretend. I want you to be in that authentic energy. I want you to embrace those emotions and not, a lot of us have become hypersensitized right now. We are being re-traumatized. We have been pulled in by all of the content that's out here. Some of us are very sensitive beings. You can call it empathic, you can call it hypersensitive, you can call it just sensitive, whatever. Very in tune to people's emotions and heart and energy, whatever you want to call it. Some people are like that, and I am one of that. I'm coming to terms with that. You know what I'm saying? But like my husband said, I am a strong person. Being able to make it through and keep fighting through, despite the fact of all of these emotions that I'm dealing with, battling. It takes strength. And not everybody wins that battle. But that's why I'm here to continue to tell you to keep fighting. Keep pushing. Don't give up. I love you guys. Peace out. Bro, it's like the way social media is and the way everything we're consuming right now, via our phone devices, via television programming, TV, whatever. it's really just because we've been awakened or be made aware of how miserable our lives are, or whatever, or how far behind we are from what we think is our goal, what we think is our dream, or whatever it is, filling us with all these emotions that are, bringing our spirits down. It's just like, it's so manipulative because like you dangle fantasy, you're dangling these trips in Bali, these trips in Dubai. Oh, come look at where I'm at. Don't you want to be here? And in the background you got your kids screaming and throwing food and fighting, and you just had this argument with your boyfriend or your husband or your girlfriend or whatever, and you got this boss breathing down your neck, and it's like, hell yeah, duh, I'm gonna want to go there. Duh, I'm gonna start to get miserable even more and more. Duh, I'm gonna start to be, feeling defeated and feeling like a failure because it's constantly being shoved down my throats. And then it's like people are also just feeding into the mind is very predictable when you know it. And so it's easy to feed those spirits that we have within us. We all have the same spirits. It's just that some spirits within others are stronger than it is with other people. We all have like a sexual energy spirit. We all have like a rebellious spirit. We all have an activist spirit. We all have a just a free spirited type of multifacetedness. But some of us have been, tamed enough or indoctrinated enough, or however you want to just see it, or just chill enough that those energies and spirits are not overpowering us and getting stronger and stronger and getting, taking over us and controlling us to the point where we're, a slave to those feelings and urges and desires. But when you are constantly being bombarded with things that are feeding those desires, then you're no longer in the driver's seat. Now you are a slave to your emotions, a slave to the energies within you, and you don't know how to control and allow what needs to come up surface. You're outnumbered. You're losing the battle with yourself. You have to learn how to master self and conquer those emotions, conquer those desires, conquer those urges, and allow what needs to come up and what needs to be addressed to come up when you have the capability and the mental capacity, the cap space to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, duh, nigga, like, I'm depressed because everywhere I turn around, somebody is showing me their vacation that they probably did once in the first time in your life, or showing me their 20-pack muscles and all this when they was always in shape their whole life, and they want to act like because they eat these 2 grains of string beans and one broccoli and this smoothie that look like vomit once a day, that's really how they got in shape. Well, nah, nigga, that's just genetics. It's not like, and see, this is why I say like my perspective changed, because if you listen to previous videos, I say sometimes, how can I say this? So basically, based on your perspective and the energy you're in, that's one way to look at it. And then to balance out, you can also look at it as like, yeah, people could be fronting for the gram or doing for clout or all these things, these narratives that we have in our mind to help us survive and not lose our sanity and think that we're just this failure. But we could also just choose to look at it as inspiration. We don't have to find some kind of excuse because of another person's life or reality. If we just learn to not be in comparison or competition, then we honestly just look at it as inspiration or just congratulations. You feel me? Like, we don't have to look at it as them being fake, or we don't have to look at it as we're in competition with them. We could just simply just look at it as, okay, something good happened for that person. Boom. And that's the thing that I'm trying to get to, a place of being able to balance my mind. A big aspect and solution for, going through this process in life is understanding black and white thinking and realizing that it's not black and white. It's a spectrum. There's a lot of gray in between. It doesn't always have to be this or that. It can be a number of possibilities, and half the time we don't know because we don't ask. So instead of jumping to conclusions and assuming, which I always say assuming is the devil, because it just usually fuels that negative side of our mind that continues to make us feel like we're feeling better, but it's really just a defense mechanism, and we're deep down inside feel horrible. I feel like crap. These are just things that we tell ourselves to make us feel better about the circumstances we're in. When we just come to the terms with the circumstance we're in, we become more empowered, because we can just have those come to Jesus moments to say, you know what? I don't like where my life is at. I want to work on my relationship, or I want to have a better relationship with my child, or I want a better job, or I want a better career. Now what? Instead of just, they just, everybody in the world doing it, and getting upset and trying to make excuses, or trying to find reasons to hate everybody else and blame everybody else around you for how you're feeling and how your life has turned out, when in actuality, you just really want to find some solutions. Because what's happening is you're being bombarded with everyone else's success stories, and you don't know how to get to yours. So, of course, that's going to fill you with a lot of thoughts and emotions and feelings that ultimately don't serve you and don't help you. But I don't blame you. And this is not to make you feel bad about having those thoughts or feelings. It's to kind of refocus you and get you back to center and realize that's part of the agenda. And so you have to get back on track and say, how can I get out of this energy of competition, comparison, analysis, paralysis, all these, just any low feeling you got, just put that all in one big bowl. How can I get out of that bowl of energy and get into the other bowl where there's more uplifting, empowering, motivation, inspiration, all those types of energies? How can I get into that? How can I align with those? And that's where you need to kind of start refocusing and think of actionable steps you can take to get to where you are. Actionable ways you can make room, make space for blessings to come into your way, for miracles to come into your way. Allow yourself to receive, the blessings that you are deserving of. That is your birthright. That abundance, that is your birthright. All right, so that's kind of all I had to say. Just to kind of reflect on if you're feeling a lot of emotions and feelings, and it's not to beat yourself up about it or feel guilty about it, because like I always say, and I'm going to forever say, guilt, shame, judgment, all those internal inner critic feelings and emotions, they don't help you. They're counterproductive to your healing. Keep God first. Peace out. Rise and shine, light solution seekers. So, I know I try to bring balance in everything and try to spread light and positivity, but I also think it is important. I'm starting to get to a place where I do feel it is important to be transparent. And yes, I can be a light bringer, but in bringing light, that is also bringing reality, just shedding awareness onto things that aren't always butterflies and rainbows, So for me, being this black soul spirit, growing up in this world, I only see life through my lens, and I feel like I've lived my whole life in servitude. My whole life, has always been about being a good person, being, Christian values, just not sinning, not doing this. I went almost my whole life without cursing because I felt like I would go to hell if I did. I didn't even want to say hell. Like, I've come a long way. I would cringe, or I would just, it just feels so bad. And it's like all that internal guilt. This is why, like I said, I am Christian, but there's a lot of Christian values and belief systems that I do not abide by anymore, because to me it was not uplifting to my spirit. And that's why I do consider myself like an unorthodox Christian. Yes, I do believe in God and Jesus, but I don't feel like God and Jesus would want me to be on this earth beating myself up for no reason when I know I'm this good person. Like, why are the good people always the ones who are beating themselves up the most? When all these people who are weak and just chose the easy route to just be bad and sinful and just, do everything like they want to. And I'm not talking about you're bad or sinful because you do. I haven't put a label on what that means. To me, being bad and sinful is more like committing crimes that hurt, abuse someone physically, steal someone else's free will, those types of things. I'm not saying, oh, you like to party or you drink every now and then or you smoke weed. No, I don't consider you being a bad or sinful person or just going to hell or all that kind of stuff. So, but what I'm just saying is these people who choose to not care about humanity and they just go through life being these energy vampires, just sucking everything around them and having this selfish mindset, and not caring about the world, they don't have a care in the world. And that's literally what it is. It's like, you don't care, so you don't have a care in the world. But the people who do care have all the cares in the world, and that just mentally drains them. It's mentally exhausting. It's just overwhelming. And I'm just at a point where it's like a breaking point. It's just like, what more do I have to do? Do I have to sacrifice to get some sort of breakthrough? It's just like, this is something a lot of us feel, and this is why a lot of people lose their way and lose, how can I say, go away from God, because they feel like they've lived their life in servitude of God. They live their life righteously. They've been an intentional person. They've been a good person all their life. And it's like, what do I have to show for it? Like, that's kind of the feeling that a lot of us have. But the thing is, I'm not going to turn away from God. I'm going to keep my faith in God. But I do just wonder, like, is it a deep conditioning? Like I said, when you condition a person with fear, you don't even have to try hard to control them, because fear in itself is an emotion that controls. And so when you condition a person around fear that makes them serve your agenda, you've won. So now I feel like there is deep conditioning within the Black spirit through Christianity and other things as well, just in society as general, to try to be accepted and feel like we belong when we do belong. There's this deep sense of self-worth that's revolved around how much sacrifice I make, how much servitude I have, how much do I serve those around me, how much am I sacrificing, how burnt out am I, how much do I give that is revolving around my self-worth. And when you don't live up to whatever that measure is within our own minds, then there's this deep-seated guilt, this deep-seated shame, this deep-seated resentment, self-hate that we have towards ourselves because we're not living up to this measure. And it's like we're constantly being bombarded with people telling us to do good, be good, serve, and it's like in our minds we are. And that's why I'm trying to shift my perspective on what my purpose is. Like I said, I walk in my purpose, and providing for my family is my purpose. Taking care of my son is my purpose. Being a loving wife is my purpose. It doesn't always have to be some grandiose serve the world and try to save the world. Let's absorb all of this world's negative energy. Be this, I don't know, pawn is not the word, but just be this sacrificial lamb for the world. And I don't feel like that is the thing. I'm at a point where it's like a big part of my purpose is listening to myself, giving myself, what do I need as crystalline, as a woman, as a mother, as a wife? What do I need to make myself whole again, to make myself healthy, to make myself happy in this world, so that I do have something to pour out of my cup? Because now I'm depleted, and now it's like I'm serving from a space of lack. I'm serving from a space of desperation. I'm serving from a space of survival. And that is not a good feeling. To feel like you're doing everything you can to be this good person and you're still suffering. It's not a good feeling. It's not at all. It's very defeating. It's very depression onsetting, anxiety onsetting. It's just so many emotions come along with it. And it's like, I don't know if there's any advice that someone could give me to tell me why I'm dealing with this. Why do I feel like I have to continuously suffer? Why do I feel like I have to continuously get jobs that don't resonate with me just to survive? Get jobs that don't feel purposeful to me, that don't align with my goals, my morals, my intellect. I'm qualified for a lot of these jobs, but then I see people who don't even have half the qualifications that I have, and they get the job in one easy swoop. But I'm running and jumping through hoops, to try to get in these positions, to try to be seen. It's like I feel like I'm yelling like to this world, like, see me, hear me, I'm here, I exist. And this is why people walk through this life and they have the suicidal thoughts, and they have deep depression, they have deep anxiety, and they have all these emotions. And these are things that are never really talked about. People just kind of want to keep psyching you out to make you feel like make it through. Just think positive about it. Just pray it over. Just do this and do that. And it's like, yes, it's good to have that, but at some point we have to actually look at the root, and we have to actually like be real about it. You have all the right to feel the way you feel. You know, coming from me, like, I don't know what your story is, but I know my story is, I know my feelings are valid, and I have all the right to feel the way I'm feeling. All these emotions, all of this frustration from hitting these dead ends. And, you know, that's why I say a lot of the spirituality stuff in the spiritual community I don't always resonate with, because it's like, it seems like just another form of excuses like you get from, you know, religion. It's just another way of saying, oh, you're just in a void period, you're just in this, and it's like all this waiting game. And, you know, yes, I do believe in surrender and faith, but it's like, okay, what's gonna shake? How many more lessons do I have to take? How many more bullshit ass jobs do I have to be in before I actually find a home? You know, I actually find home. You know what I'm saying? Yes, everything I feel like is a learning lesson. Yes, I feel like things are preparing me for, you know, what God has in store. These are all things that I have to tell myself. Because if I don't, I would have been lost it. I would have been lost my sanity. But it's like I'm getting to a point where I feel like, are these all just a bunch of bullshit ass excuses or sayings and pieces of advice or token phrases just to keep me putting up with the bullshit of life, like just to keep me functioning? Because I'm just desperate for solutions. I'm just desperate for, like, how can I survive and thrive? And I'm just trying to get there. How can I have work-life balance? How can I be the mother that I want to be for my son? How can I be the wife I want to be for my husband, while being able to honor, you know, my own individual purpose as well? These are the things people are actually battling about. And there's only so many more positive affirmations that you can tell me. You know, people are out here doing everything that they hear these gurus and these guys tell them, writing on their mirrors, saying their affirmations every day, doing whatever else they've watched. People tell them, seeking answers, when I'm starting to feel like there is no real answer. And like I said, these are dark reflections because I'm in a space of frustration, and I'm not in a good, I wouldn't say good space, but it's just like, I'm just in a real space, to be honest with you. It's no label around it. It's just like, these are just my emotions, and I'm not trying to positive them away. I'm not trying to say, you know, what sounds good. I'm not trying to be politically correct. I'm just being real, raw, uncut, and transparent. And I'm just at a point of, what's got to give? What is it? What have I done wrong? Is it curse? Is it like, what is it? You know what I mean? Like, why did I have to go through this? Living my whole life feeling like a doormat, feeling like just, I've been so good for no reason. This is like, we all need reinforcement. And it's like, I'm waiting for mine. I'm at like the end, my wit's end. Like, that's how I feel. Like, I'm at my wit's end. Like, when are my miracles, when are my blessings gonna come? And I don't want to pretend like I'm satisfied with the little miracles here and there. Oh, okay, I got a parking spot in the front. Yay! I'm grateful. Like, God knows my heart. God knows I'm a grateful person, and I am, and I know I'm blessed to have my child. I'm gonna have this and have that. You know, and my husband is just like, but come on. God also sees what I'm going through as well, and this is not to blame God at all, because I know we still are on earth. It is free will, but this is just me reflecting from like a space. It's like, these is the thoughts that we all carry when we're in a dark space, like when we're just like rock bottom, and you know, there needs to be more conversations like this, not just when everybody's doing good and, you know, everything is peachy cream, and you want to tell people who are miserable in misery to just do this and just do that, because that's not, like, keep it real, bro. You wasn't doing that when you was down and out. You had your moments when you were down and out. What did you do then? How did you psych yourself out? How did you get out of it? How did you, you know, defeat that? Yes, I'm just tired of fighting. I'm a big believer of fighting that inner voice and that voice that wants to break you down. I know that is part of one of my tactics. Yeah, you got to talk crazy to that voice and tell it like, you won't defeat me. But at some point when you're so miserable with your job, when you're so miserable with whatever is going on in your life, it's only so much you can do because you feel trapped in that misery. You're literally trapped because you can't escape it based on whatever the reason is. If it's survival, if it's for financial stability, if it's for emotional dependency, codependency, whatever that may be, you feel literally trapped in your misery in that situation. Like you don't see an escape, you don't see a way out, so you don't see light. I know a lot of you out here can attest to this and have felt this way before. And this is why that is in me right now to just speak upon it. Whether I get out of this energy and I'm in a good mood tomorrow, it still needed to be expressed. This still needed to be released. This still needed to be brought to the table and discussed. Because there's millions of people around this world who are going through these same emotions, maybe even worse. Maybe contemplating ending their life. Maybe contemplating just, not even communicating with the world because they may have that luxury. Sometimes that's a luxury to not have to be able to even do that. But when you have people depending on you, God knew what he was doing when he made you somebody that people depend on, because maybe you would have gave up already. But yeah, I just had to talk about this and bring this up. I see you. I hear you. We are going to make a way. We are going to push through. I totally feel what you're saying. I totally understand the emotions you're going through. I understand the breakdowns you've had, the panic attacks, the crying, the uncontrollable pain, the heart aches that you literally physically feel and emotionally. I know that. I see it. I've been there. But you have to keep hope alive. We have to keep pushing and keep trying. Find somewhere to release this, have this outlet. Find someone to talk to. Write down your emotions. Journal them. Let them go. Release them. And try to come back to center. Try to come back to the drawing board and figure out what can you do. And until then, just take it day by day, minute by minute if you have to, I love you guys. Keep God first. Peace, love, light, and healing energies. Be open to receiving them. Peace out. I'm just convinced I really can't be satisfied. And I think that's a consensus with people, humans in general. It's kind of like, just reflecting on stuff. It's like, I just have to, like I said, you got to be critical with yourself sometimes. Like I was just thinking, when I'm at home with my son 24/7 and, this and that. Yeah, being real, my son does get on my nerves at times. He works my nerves. It can get draining and exhausting, constantly being called every 5 seconds. And so sometimes I'm like, man, you complain to somebody else. You're like, you don't understand because you're not here with them all the time. Or, if you're not a mom, you don't get it. And I low-key want to go back to work. Then you get the job and it's like, then you complain to somebody who at home with the child all day. It's like, you don't really understand. Like, I don't get to spend time with my child or I just don't get to have a life or outside of work. So it's kind of like, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. It's like the God is, and I'm not going to even say God or the universe is saying, make up your mind. A lot of times we create these, I feel like within the spiritual community, here's the formula and the recipe is always like finding ways to excuse the bad things that happen into our life, or the feelings that we have into our life. Like I said, the mind always wants to make connections, right? So basically, by saying, "Oh, that's the universe," you don't know what you want to do. You're not sure. You're not. You're in a crossroads. You don't know what you want, or you're in this spiritual warfare. So, God or the universe is confused, or you know what I'm saying, and it's like, is that really it? Or is that just kind of what your mind has come to the conclusion of? Is that really divine intervention, or is that just a reason, or is that just something to help us keep our sanity? I'm at a point now where I'm literally breaking down everything because it's just like, what's got to give? Like, I don't see anything happening. I don't see anything manifesting. The things that I feel like are manifesting end up turning out to be some bullshit. It's like, is it too hard to just become rich from doing what I want to do? To be a podcaster, to be a blogger, to just have freedom. I'm just writing. I'm creating a children's book. Like, can I get the resources for that? Can I, get into counseling? Oh no, that's going to take at least 6 years before I can even get a freaking entry-level job with no experience. So it's just like all these things. It's like, I just wish I knew something earlier. But then it's like, the more and more I think about it, it's like, we don't know nothing, because it's like, nigga, some people got out of high school and they've kept their jobs since then. These are the people who've been in their companies for 10, 15, 20 years. And some people went to school and, they got their degrees and they got these jobs that are paying good. But then at the end of the day, then now they're questioning those decisions, and the ones who didn't take neither one of those routes, like me, and it's just been jobs hunting, hopping, trying to find that job that resonates with them. Then they're looking, it's kind of like you always think the grass is green on the other side. Like, you always think those people have it better and those people think you have it better. It's so much. But at the end of it all, what pisses me off the most is that capitalism wins. Because you had a lot of people turn away from God or their religion or their, Christianity or whatever it was, and lean into spirituality, because we were at a point of, man, I don't see nothing coming to fruition. You know what I'm saying? I've been a faithful Christian or whatever, this person all my life. So I'm turning into more of the spiritual modalities. I'm turning more into these other forms of faith, and then it's like, you don't see that coming to fruition either. So it's like, now, that's why I said spirituality is just another form of religion, is just another form of faith. And whatever a person believes in to keep them going in life, but I feel like we're in a space in this world where people are becoming so, I feel like, aware of it. I don't know if it could be negative, because it just feels like everything is bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that's the energy we're in. Like, where everybody is like feeling this deep sense of skepticism of it all. And when you get to a place like that, you lose hope. You have no hope. When you don't have hope, you don't have purpose or will, or, the things that keep you going. And this is going to put people in a lot of deep depression, a lot of suicidal thoughts, a lot of just, dark spots. But why I say capitalism wins is because the people who have always fought their whole life to stay happy, to stay here on this earth, who don't want to give up, they just want a break, they're gonna seek counseling, they're gonna seek outlets. And it sucks that we have to go through finding ways and means of getting mental help, because it's not provided to us for free. But you continue to put us in an asylum. But then when we go crazy, you're forcing us to pay for it. It's like dropping us off in a desert, but you're driving a water pump truck or whatever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you drop us off in a desert. We're dying of thirst. And you have this whole truck full of water, but the water is $1,000 a cup. Nigga, we're going to find a means to get to what we need. We're going to find a way to pay that $1,000, because we're dying of thirst. And that's how I feel like in this world. I'm dying to catch that break. So it's like, what do I got to do to get that break? And it's still not in me. I'm not like a criminal or nothing. Like, that's not my perspective. It's like, but some people who have gone to that route, you almost like can't blame them, because it's like I said, I've spoken on this before. Criminology 101. Tupac said it before. Jay-Z kind of references before. Crabs don't belong in a barrel. Like Tupac said, we started knocking. We are hungry, please let us in. We are hungry, please let us in. Then, the knock get harder. We hungry, can you let us in the door? Then it's at the end, I'm busting down the door, I'm coming to get some food. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's a progression of constantly asking and then begging, then groveling to get something that you should have a rightful space to have as well. And then it's like, people are like, well, you're just impatient, or, you got to stick with the job. But it's like, people don't understand how the black mind works. There has been so much to traumatize it. The way we think is very defensive, it's very skeptical, it's very distrustful, it's very paranoid. It's filled with so many complexes and due to whether the reality, let's just say racism really doesn't exist. Okay, let's just say that it's all in our head, right? Whether that's real or not, even though we know it is, but whether it's real or not, the story has been so ingrained and instilled and implanted and shoved down our throats through media, through news, through TV, through everything, that even if it wasn't real, it's so hard for our minds to detach from that reality because your mind does not know real from fake. So all bullshit aside, whether you on a racism is just this and we're in a victim mentality, or racism does exist and these are the systems that have been set up to destroy us, either side of the coin, nigga, the mind don't know. So at the end of the day, we are still enslaved and still have that slave mentality and still have that survival mentality and still have a lot of the complexes that make it harder for us to survive in school, survive in work, survive in this world in general. And I feel like it's just becoming more aware of those things that we have because now we've been psychoanalyzed and stripped of our survival tactics mentally. And so they've been so dissected and so put on blast because, like now the world has our secrets, you know what I'm saying? And so all of the grace that God has given us has been like stolen and put on blast. And so now it's becoming even harder for us to survive mentally. Like I said, there is an attack on the mind, and we have to figure out a way to get back to. And to me, the only fight I have in me left is the fight to not let it win. It's like a fight of life. You know what I'm saying? I always say this, and my husband, we always talk about this. It's like we're boxers, and if you don't punch back, you're going to get knocked out. Life, you know what I'm saying? It can beat you down. And it's like I want to prove that whatever it is, the energy, my mindset, the devil, whatever you want to call anything that brings you down, I want to prove it wrong. Like, bro, you didn't win. And as long as you're still living, whether you believe in God, universe, whatever, as long as you're still here, God, the universe is not done with you yet. As long as you have family that loves you, children who love you, people who love you, even if you don't feel like it, there's somebody here who would miss you if you were gone. For those out there contemplating, suicidal, having suicidal thoughts, having all these feelings of defeat and just exhaustion, please seek help. Please call off a day. You'll be surprised at just the feeling of not going to work would do for you. Go walk in the park, call off. If they fire you for a mental health day, that's illegal. So file unemployment. And then you'll have a few days off. I'm just tell you like that right now. Call off. Go to the park. Walk. Drink some water. Make sure you eat a good, healthy meal. Get you a little smoothie. Do whatever. Go eat some good soul food, some good barbecue, something. Just sit outside, look at the clouds, look at the birds, hear the birds sing. Probably don't even know when the last time you heard a bird sing. You deserve that. You deserve a break every once in a while because this world, that fight, it gets exhausting. Even boxers can only go 12 rounds. You know what I'm saying? We're not even trained. We're not even professionals, but we really are. We just don't got the title or the belt. But in spirit, we do. So, we are spiritual warriors. Yeah, we get tired of fighting. And yeah, we at a point where it's like, nigga, I don't want to fight no more. Who was at this? I don't want to fight no more. Was it on Martin? But anyway, we looking like Morton when he got all them knots on his head. Y'all remember that episode? So it's like, I feel you. I understand, trust, and believe. A person who's battled with, anxieties, depression, suicidal thoughts, suicidal attempts. Trust me. I believe people will be surprised when I, disclose it. I don't disclose it to a lot of people. But people are always surprised when they found out that I've done that, you know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, because I feel like as hard as I try to be this good person and to try to succeed and to try to win, I just never can. And I don't know, am I a lazy person? It's just like your mind starts to question, like, am I this lazy person? And then now we're in a social media age, like I said, it's fueling those negative thoughts. It's making the inner critic grow because there's so much classism and so much out there. Oh yeah, because you ain't doing this, you ain't doing that. That's why you're not successful. Oh, because you ain't. It's always never enough. We don't have any good coaches out there. We don't have any positive reinforcement out there. Damn, like, can a nigga get a good job? You're fueling a part of the mindset where we're never like a perfectionism. Like, you do nothing right. We're damn near becoming, social media is damn near becoming an abusive partner. It's gaslighting the shit out of us. Like no bullshit. Like, it's just making us feel like we're the issue. And this is not to denote accountability. Yes, there are things we could do to improve and do this, but it's like, at some point, do we get positive reinforcement? Like I said, it's everything with a grain of salt. It's no definitives. It's no one way. It's no one. It's always a little bit of that. That's why sometimes speaking on the human race and just the mind, it can be broken down so much, and you can critique and analyze what I say and what I don't say. But every circumstance and situation is different. And it's hard to tailor it to a mass group of people, but there are enough commonalities where we can kind of come to an agreement or a consensus that, this is an issue. And the mind has been under attack forever because it creates your reality. And as long as you're in misery, then capitalism wins. Then society wins. Then the system wins. And honestly, I want to believe that maybe it's just a false reality, but I don't see anything that is being put into this world to prevent the misery. So until I see something grand that has been created to prevent the misery in this world, then it's hard for me to believe that there are people actually out there trying to prevent this. You think all the money that's in psychology, all the money that's into the mental health industry, you think they don't freaking know? If I've been able to analyze and decode and break down the whole systemic dark psychology, you don't think it's some freaking person who has had all the education and knowledge in the world who's figured this out? Come on, it's already books on dark psychology. It's already books on all these things. So there is a solution. Don't believe that people don't have the solution to problems, to the solution to diseases, to the solution to addictions. There are solutions out there. They don't want to give the solutions. And this is where my conspiracy mindset comes in. And it's just how I feel, because I don't see it. I don't see a safe cigarette. I don't see alcohol that doesn't cause any issues. I don't see a cure for AIDS or a cure for this or a cure for depression or a cure for anxiety. I don't see jobs that produce more work-life balance and don't make you feel bad for having to call off to go to your son's mother-son dance, or because you had to take a mental health day, or because you need to leave early because you need to go pick up your son or your child. I don't see circumstances in life that actually work with us. I don't see people who know how to see a person as an actual person and not just a number or employee. I don't see professors who actually understand that people have a life outside of school and don't want to write 20-page papers just to get out of school and not even be able to find a job. I don't see it. I don't see affordable housing. I don't see affordable education. I don't see it. So tell me at the point where it becomes easy life, and then people want to say life's not fair, it's easy. And yeah, that's one way to motivate people. Some people do get motivated through tough love and like that kind of, hardcore coach. Get your ass up and just fight. Yes, okay. But man, I've been fighting. You don't understand, I've been fighting. Just because I don't got the bruises to show it, trust me, there is a fight every day in my internal world where I'm pushing myself to keep going. I'm just at a point of breaking because I'm very exhausted. And I'm at a point where there is no hope because I don't see anything. And yes, I have faith, but I'm a human as well. So even if there's something in my higher self that can see something that I don't see it. And I'm at a point where it's been so long where I haven't seen anything yet. That's how I feel. And I don't know how to change that feeling. And this is just a transparent reflection and vent. And I know It's something that a lot of people are feeling because the feeling is so strong and has come out of nowhere that I know it's something that we're feeling as a collective. But I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep pushing. As always, keep God first. Peace, love, light, and healing energies. Always be open to receiving them. I love you guys. Peace out. I've always been a person who's kind of had depression, fought with it or whatever. Maybe I didn't truly understand it as a young child, but I knew something didn't feel right. I didn't feel happy, or I don't know what was going on in my mind at that time. But I do feel like there's, just like I said, there's a part in you that God is protecting you, and always in your heart. And then you got the part of you that wants to just submit and just stop fighting and just allow the devil to win and just take over, and allow life to just win and take over and just seep all the darkness into you. Your arm gets tired of holding up that shield of God, because there's so much force on that shield. You just fighting and fighting and fighting, and pushing. Your toes and your heels are scraping into the ground, going against that force. You're slipping and you're sliding, and your dust just flying in your face. It's just it's like a constant fight. Energetically, you're drained. Spiritually, you're defeated. Emotionally, you're defeated. You're depressed. And it's just like, when things happen to trigger it and onset that depression attacks, those moments, it's like where that onset, that depression just hits you like a ton of bricks, like the cloud just over your head just pours down. I feel like are moments when your body physically is not strong, or like it's more vulnerable. I just feel like triggers of depression are, to me, moments in life when your environment or your body renders you more vulnerable, susceptible. So now it's like having an army, but half of them on vacation. So now the fight becomes harder, right? You're more susceptible to losing because you don't have that army that you had. And like, for example, PMDD or PMS is like heightened. For a lot of women, they may feel like this is something new. No, it's just that after this pandemic, our nervous systems, our physical bodies, everything has become shot. We become more aware of our stressors and our emotions and our physical body, and that does something to you mentally, because now you're connected consciously to your pain, and it's intensified. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we probably all have stresses and depressions and anxiety and all that, but when you become aware of that and there's no real solutions, that to me is a form of manipulation, and it's just toxic and evil to me. Because why bring someone out of their ignorant bliss if you have nothing to give them true bliss? You see what I'm saying? And so it's like, so I feel like PMS is like is a trigger for me. I feel like having like seasonal affective disorder, like I said, this time when the days get shorter, the nights get longer, and it's October around this time, fall, it's just the energy is a very still energy. It's a very dark, and I don't mean that dark as evil, like a darker, as in brightness energy. So it's a hibernation energy. It's a reflection energy that can trigger and bring up a lot for people, even when they don't really want it. A lot of memories, a lot of nostalgic feelings, a lot of old feelings can be surfaced. And so that's what's happening. It is so quiet that now things are surfacing again. You don't have enough noise and distraction and dissociation to not think about it. And my thing in this world is people are always trying to say, oh, you're not healing because you're coping and you're distracting yourself and da-da-da. And I actually have a video I made a year ago. Dissociation, distraction, and coping are not bad things. When it keeps your sanity, when you're actually happy, stop trying to tell people that that's a false happiness. That's just a defense mechanism. Nigga, what do you have to offer them to give them quote unquote real happiness then? If you can't tell me because I like to go partying and have fun, and I like to go eat here, and I like to go do this, or I like to work out 5-6 days out the week, like, it's getting to a point where people want to steal your sanity so much that now they're telling you when you do stuff that's even healthy in our society that is bad. Oh, you're overworking out. Really what that is you're just, you're working out so much to distract yourself. Nigga, well, what is this? Can you please tell me what the coping mechanisms are? Can you please tell me what the solution is? Because, nigga, I feel like, I can't work out. I can't eat good food. I can't do nothing. All these things. It's like, you can't win it's like stuck between a rock and a hard place. Can't win for losing. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. That's why I say social media is becoming the worst therapist that a person can have. And not saying that you should have been looking at it as a therapist, but like I said, you almost cannot help but hear it. These people who created these entities understand that everything you see, watch, and hear is absorbed into your subconscious. So whether you wanted to hear it or not, now you heard it. And now when something happens, oh girl, when this is happening, this is what your man is doing. And you like, this bullshit. Then next thing you know, you and your husband have an argument or something. Bro, and I did say this. Oh, so you coming to me like that because what it is you're a narcissist and you just really trying to gaslight me and you really... Then you start watching TV shows and then they showing all these couples going through issues that they know are kind of common, but they're not giving real solutions. They just feeding the mind and the negative narratives that we have that are not true therapy, that are not true ways or avenues to get to solutions. It's really just fueling that negative mindset that we already have, that we're already magnetized towards, that we're already easily gravitated towards. And it just grows it and grows and grows it. And then you wonder why people are depressed. You wonder why people have anxiety. And then you tell them when they have these things, when they actually, submit to these diagnoses or labels, then now it's something wrong with them for even like addressing it. Do you see the asylum? Do you see it? Do you hear it? It's like the more and more I say it out loud, I'm just like, bruh. I feel like the girl with the wig that came out for her head. Nigga. We finna get this. So we finna get this. Like, that's how I feel. Like, really? Really, bro? You just like making a mockery of me. The devil be busy. Bro. Trust me, I know sometimes you gotta like literally laugh at this shit. Like, bro, like really? Bro. I feel like, I don't know if y'all have ever seen the video. The lady made this nice little bundt cake, had the icing all on it. She walking into the baby shower to bring the cake. God dog, the top fall off and the whole bundt cake falls right side up onto the grass or the concrete. Poor thing sat down right by the cake. She lost it. And I know that feeling because that's happened to me several times. She just sat there and started eating the cake, y'all. Just dipping the finger in the icing and eating it. And that's those moments of insanity. Like, can a nigga catch a break? Really? And things feel catastrophized, just bigger because you've already been fighting so much. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, I understand. People may feel like you're overreacting, but I know why you did that. You fighting so much already. That was like the straw that broke the camel's back. That was like the, whatever other saying that means like that was just the last straw. And it's like, that's why I do believe in certain healing practices that kind of help you release energy, like release this anger, venting, going outside into nature, talking. I do believe in a lot of this stuff because sometimes it's just a point of you need to let it all out at some point. You've been building it up for so long that now you just need an outlet. And some people don't even realize they need an outlet. They just continue to pile more and more and more and more until they hit a breaking point because they don't realize we've become so conditioned and like out of survival to dissociate, to distract, to deflect, to cope. Which, like I said, is not bad, but sometimes, depending on how you're coping, you're not addressing what you're feeling at all. And I'm not saying bringing up old wounds and do it. like I said, it's everything a grain of salt. But it's just sometimes you've been doing it so long without even really addressing any emotions that you have, that's when it becomes like detrimental to your mental health and to your well-being. But I'm not opposed to doing those things to a certain extent to kind of keep your sanity. You get what I'm saying? So that's where it becomes with a grain of salt. Just take it how you see it. It's not a definitive thing. It's not an end all be all. It's not black and white. It's a spectrum. Gray. There's gray in there between. It's not this or that. Excuse me. But yeah. Keep God first. Peace, love, light, and healing energies. Be open to receiving them. I love you guys. Peace out. It's 9:11 on the clock, and come to this realization that I just feel like old school or toxic or traditional Christianity, and they're not all one the same. Some of the conditioning makes it feel like God's love and mental protection is conditional. And that's not fair. And I don't think that, for me, I don't believe that. I believe that God is very non-judgmental. He understands the world that we're on, the energy that is constantly a force field fighting against us. He understands that we are susceptible as in these human vessels to absorb some of the negativity, to absorb some of those mental complexes. He understands all of it. He's all knowing and all understanding. He, she, however you want to look at it. But my point is, I don't like how when you go to God and when you go to people who are, preachers or Christian based or whatever, they always like want to say that what you're going through is like some form of punishment. Oh, that's what happens when you love someone more than God, or you put somebody before God, or, and these are not all faith leaders, you know what I'm saying? Faith walkers, or however they're called, preachers or whatever. So I know that's the image that we always are seeing, shown, and kind of programmed to just only associate with Christianity. Christianity is not a bad religion. There is bad in it. And that goes with everything that man has touched. The root of it, the core of it, the essence of it is not bad. But what I'm just saying is from growing up as a child, how I feel now, it's almost like the conditioning is to feel like when stuff is going wrong, it's like a form of punishment because you turned your back on God, or your faith dwindled a bit, or your faith wavered a bit, or you lost your way, or maybe you tried this other spiritual modality, like you can only just pray and that's the only thing. Prayer to me is the highest form of intention and the highest form, because it's a direct conversation with God. But I do believe that there are catalysts in this world that God did put on this earth that we could use to connect to Him, even in an easier way, or quicker way, or just in a different way. Everybody, how everybody learns differently. Some more hands-on, some more you have to speak it or you have to write it. I feel like it's the same thing with communicating with God. People communicate with God in different ways, and some ways are easier than others. Just like meditation. Some people like to complete silence when they meditate. Some people like certain music when they meditate. Some people like to not be still, and they like to actually move their physical body, and their mind becomes more still. Because when their physical body is still, their mind becomes more mobile. You see what I'm saying? So, and this was just my perspective. I'm like, bro, I think that's another reason why people turn away from Christianity, is because of the toxic people who feel like they've been chosen to be vessels of God, and they're not even speaking the word of God. That's why I say you have to be your own direct connection with God, because if you consider yourself a healer, you have to have that own discernment and realization that you come with human filters, and so you have to be able to do that to be a leader, to understand that your perspective is not for everybody. Even though God speaks through you and you are anointed or what have you, you have to know, what are you doing to the collective? How is that going to help the collective? That's it. Having faith and believing that all things through God, Jesus Christ, and the power of manifesting, it brings peace if you can truly believe in that. Because worry not inadvertently, but just worry brings stress, feeling chaotic inside, feeling uncontrollable, feeling anxious, feeling defeated, feeling depressed. Those emotions are natural to me for circumstances that don't feel fulfilling or in alignment. And so I know a lot of people say when you're in that energy, you're not going to attract anything. But I still have a very hard time telling people that, because it's like, now you really leave me hopeless, because how do I get out of this space if I'm in a state of struggle? Is this part of the agenda to continue to program us and bombard us with trauma, new ways to stress us out, new ways to make us worry, so that we consistently stay in this state of low vibrational energy of stress, worry, struggle, even if our realities aren't that bad? You know what I mean? Like, even if we can be content and comfortable, it's like the way the social media and everything is going now, it's like it's making people feel ungrateful for circumstances or living situations that aren't even that bad. But the spirit of comparison and competition is coming in, and it, affects people's egos and trying to keep up with the Joneses, even if the Joneses don't even exist. It's just like all of these things continuously pile on and pile on and pile on. You're engulfed in these energies that supposedly keep you from being happy. So it keeps you in this loop of trauma, never being able to attain this happiness that you're in pursuit of. So you spend a lifetime trying to get out of an energy that is constantly being shoved down your throat. And this is why I say you're not crazy. It's the world we live in. It's an asylum that's constantly putting us in circumstances that, to me, don't serve us. And yeah, you can have the mindset of, you got to get out there and make it. Yeah, you do. But if your mindset is very deeply ingrained in the things that supposedly don't bring blessings or miracles or manifestations towards you, then what do you say to that person? What do you say to the person who feels like even when they try their hardest, nothing ever kind of comes of it? Even when they've gone to school and they've graduated and they have this degree and they have that degree and they have this much experience, but all they can get is pennies and crumbs, and they're stuck suffering and going into work every day with an empty cup, trying to be the best employee they can be, in hopes that one day somebody will see them for their true potential and give them a raise or give them the promotion or give them whatever, so that they can continue to, leave a legacy, leave a foundation for their family, for their children, instead of repeating this cycle of victim mentality, struggle mentality, poverty mentality, lack, scarcity. Because you can't tell me not to have lack or scarcity when I have lack or scarcity. You can't tell me not to have that mindset when all I see is that, when all I'm surrounded in is that. Yeah, I can try to have hope and faith but that does become hard after a while. We have to be real about it. And kudos to the people who have, conquered that skepticism and that questioning. But it's like, for me, I'm having a really hard time trying to psych myself out or accept and cope with circumstances that are just totally unfair, unjust, and out of alignment. Like, I don't know what to do, because it's kind of like, that's why they say ignorance is bliss, because once you're awake to things and you have this sense of worth and you have this sense of just confidence, and the world is not matching up to that or aligning to that, then it just gets defeating. That's all, man. It just mentally gets defeating. I don't think I'll ever be able to get out of the complexes and thought processes and trap of the maze of the black mind. Like, all of the ways, the things that I think in, like, that affect my life and why I just can't catch a break, and what path I should take, and what I just feel so trapped. And I swear, it's like a diabolical genius, the way that the black mind has been corrupted and poisoned and twisted and manipulated and distorted to not serve us, our legacies, our generations to come, ourselves. Nigga, just ourselves we can't even serve.